Hey guys, Braden here from Attic Gaming. Today I was able to catch the live stream of Rome 2 Total War, which is a game I'm looking forward to a great deal because Total War was a pretty big part of my gaming life. I put a ton of hours into Medieval 1 and 2. So it's definitely a game I'm going to be playing alongside Guild Wars 2. But don't worry about Guild Wars 2 content because that'll be still coming out. I'm always working on Guild Wars 2 stuff. So I figured I'd put in some commentary over the live stream and recap what was said in the video and give you my own opinions as the video goes on. But if you want to watch the original video, I'll make sure to put the link in the description box for you guys. So at the beginning of the video, they show off the campaign map, and I gotta say, the parts that I saw I really liked because comparing it to Shogun 2, I didn't like Shogun 2's map so much. I'm just used to the medieval type maps where it feels much larger, and it just feels more epic that way, I think. So the Rome 2 map is really coming together. There are also provinces that have great wonders of the ancient world, like pyramids or the Lighthouse of Alexandria. If you capture these areas, you get certain buffs. So that definitely sounds interesting. I wonder if they're going to make the AI be a little more aggressive towards these zones because they know that they get really cool buffs by doing it. It really reminds me of Civilization when you can build some of the wonders of the world and really benefit from them. Another really big thing that they touched on was the minimum specs of Rome 2. Now they said that their aim is to have the same minimum specs for Rome 2 that they had for Shogun 2. So if you're able to play Shogun 2, then you'll be okay. I'm just really glad they're not going to be increasing the minimum specs by too much, because as we've seen before, the more accessible games are, the more they tend to be successful. Just look at Minecraft. Build a solid game that is widely accessible and you have a great formula for success. So Rome 2 seems to be offering that amazing gameplay with the stunning graphics, but they also seem to be making it very accessible to players, so they don't have to, you don't have to go out and buy a new rig just to play the game. Another great thing that they touched on was the relationships between factions. So instead of wondering why all of a sudden your ally turned on you after you've been allies for the whole game, there's actually going to be a panel that shows you how each action you make, how that affects the other factions and their likes and dislikes towards you. So if you're wondering why an ally turned on you, you can open up the panel and see exactly what you did for them to end your alliance. Now, I'm not a person who cares too much about diplomacy, but for you diplomacy nerds out there, this should really help you build stronger alliances and maybe learning what actions you can take to get some of those enemies off of your back. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump forward to the battle that they showed off. Now, this is one of the historic battles that they showed, and you can see there's some boats in the water that are going to be fighting, and apparently you can do fights on land and in water on the same fight, which worries me a little bit just because I'm not a huge fan of naval battles. I prefer more of the system where you're just on the campaign map and click on boats. If you have the stronger army, you kill them. So doing a naval battle by itself would be okay maybe. I'm wondering how this is going to pan out doing naval battles and land fights at the same time. It definitely adds to your strategy because you can't just only worry about your army on your lands, but you're going to have to worry about your navy as well. But the water battles do look pretty cool, I guess, for being water battles, but there is a lot of boat ramming, which is, I guess, correct for that time period. That's kind of the strategy boats used to use. So they show off some of the different tiers of boats, like there's a pretty big ship in there with a pretty big bow, so you can ram other boats with it, but they do say that's one of the more expensive ones. So it's pretty cool to see the variety in the boats. Now we can look at the land army. That's what I'm mostly concerned about. I don't care too much about naval battles. Some of you might, but I don't. So let's look at the land battles. One of the cool things about Rome 2, you see some units that you just don't see in other games. I mean, there are really cool exotic type units like elephants and chariots. And speaking of chariots, actually, there's one really cool thing about battle in Rome 2 where each unit has mass. So when you have chariots or you have elephants running through the front line of an army, they're actually going to be carrying that mass through, and you're really going to see it, and you're really going to feel it when you're crashing through the front line of an army. Another really cool thing that you can see in this video are some really cool defensive tactics. For example, you can see people setting these boulders on fire and then throwing them down the hill into the enemy. Now, I love gameplay like this, and I really hope that they add some more type of tactics like this, because you can, depending on which map you go on, you can really assemble your army so you're not always running with the same army, especially in multiplayer. I would love to see some Some people come with just some really cool, really creative type strategies using these things. Now, one really big change that you're going to see in this video is that each map, when you play, have capture points on it. So instead of a defense just turtling up and just staying there waiting for the attacker to attack, the attacker can attack these control points instead. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of control points for, winning a map, especially in a game like Total War. It seems a little strange, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below if you think it's a good idea or a bad idea. And make sure you guys subscribe for more Rome 2 Total War content. I will be picking this game up day one. So if you guys want to see more Rome 2 stuff, make sure you subscribe. Thanks, guys.